Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. I am so proud of everyone for how hard they've been working on building their nest all week. And I'm excited for our Zoom meeting today to find out more about your engineering design process and how you designed your nest. So before we meet on Zoom, I wanted to read you this book called You Nest Here With Me by Jane Yolen and Heidi Stemple, and it's illustrated by Melissa Sweet. This book was actually was lent to me by Ellie and her mom, Gretchen, and her sister Naomi. So they let me borrow this book that they had at their home. And this author, Jane Yolen, one of the authors, is also the author of the first book I ever read to our class when I first came to visit you. It was called Owl Moon, and that was one of my favorite books that I used to read to my first graders in Aspen, Colorado. So I'm so glad again to be reading you another Jane Yolen book. You Nest Here With Me. My little nestling, time for bed. Climb inside your sleepy head. Like baby bird, your nest can be anywhere. There's you and me. Pigeons nest on concrete ledges. Catbirds nest in greening hedges. Tiny wrens and shoreline sedges, you nest here with me. Grackles nest in high fir trees. Terns all nest in colonies upon high cliffs above rough seas, but you nest here with me. Some owls nest in oak tree boles, some down in abandoned holes. The burrowing owl down there. And another neat thing about this illustrations in this book is there's a lot of mixed media where they did some collaging in there. Do you see how the leaves look? They have newspaper inside of them. It's pretty cool. Hawks may nest on telephone poles, but you nest here with me. Coots nest low in cattail reeds. Sparrows' nests are full of weeds, plus tangled grasses, feathers, seeds. But you nest here with me. The coot is kind of like a grebe, which was in another book I read you about birds' nest, and they have a floating nest in the cattails, it looks like. And there's some little frogs hanging out down there. Swallows nest above barn doors. Plovers nest on sandy shores. Eagles nest high upon high tors, but you nest here with me. Cowbirds, the uninvited guest, leaves her egg in a foster nest, but you nest here with me. That was in another story we read about the cowbird, how they lay their eggs in another bird's nest, and then those parents, these are cardinals, become foster parents for that egg the catbird laid. Killdeer, once their eggs are laid, perform a broken wing charade. The clutch can rest there unafraid, as you nest here with me. This killdeer is a really neat bird. You'll see them sometimes if you get too close to their nest. Sometimes you'll find them even in the railroad tracks. They nest in weird places, and they will act like they have a broken wing. So they got their wing up and they're kind of doing a dance. And for some reason that wards off predators because they look sick or something. and it protects their babies. So if you ever see a bird like this doing a weird dance, you know that it's trying to protect its babies. Oh, and look, there is a predator, a little fox peeking out. Birds nest in trees, in sand, on stone, in colonies, or all alone. They nest in holes and under eaves, in barns and reeds, on poles and leaves. And safe inside, the nestlings grow, while learning all they need to know. So till you're big as big can be, you'll nest right here in your house with me, in our house with me. Oh, and look there, tiny little hummingbirds nesting just like the hummingbird nest Viola built. And more cool collages there on the leaves. And she's got her little owl stuffy tucked in bed with her. This is a really neat page. So inside the back of this book, I don't know if I will have time to show you all of these, but it talks about each of the different birds in the book that they showed their nest. And it gives you some details about their eggs and their feathers and some other fun facts. So that was a really cool thing they included in here. That's kind of what I did for you when I made a little slideshow after I read you Mama Built a Little Nest and told you more about the birds that build those nests and showed you some real photos of those birds. So thank you, Ellie, so much for sharing this book with me. Look at this cool nest in the back there. How awesome is that? And pretty soon we're all going to be meeting up and sharing the nest that we built this week. And I would love to hear the steps of the engineering design process that you went through as you were building your nest. And you can even show us if you have your nest still, if you added any weight to it, if you're able to pick it up. Even if you weren't, if your nest just fell apart, if you never could get it to stay together, it's okay. This is all part of building a growth mindset, and your brains are getting stronger. So an engineer doesn't always succeed every time. They fail. And oftentimes it takes a lot of failing at something in order to be able to learn. You can maybe think about the first time you tried to ride a bike, or the first time you went skiing. I know a lot of you like to ski, and you probably fell down a lot. It takes a while to learn and get that balance and feel confident. And the same thing happens when we're building as an engineer and designing new things. We don't always get it right off the bat at the first try, but every time we fail, we learn something new, and that helps us succeed in the future. So if you already built a nest, if you put it to the test, if it didn't work so well, I want to know about what didn't work well. If it did work great, that's awesome too. But even if it turned out exactly the way you want it, there's always room for improvement. So I want to hear how you can improve your nest to make it even better. All right, I'm proud of you, engineers. Woohoo! Yes. And I'm excited to meet with you soon. So see you in a little while.